Rabbi, what are you doing with your hands?
Hey! What am I doing with my hands? I'm actually trying to figure this cool move that our father Jacob did in this week's Torah portion when he took his hands and kind of twisted them. Oh, let me start from the beginning, all right? In this week's Torah portion, Jacob calls over his beloved son Joseph and says, "Bring me your two children, I want to bless them." So Jacob brings over Manasseh and Ephraim, his two beloved children, and he puts Manasseh, who's the older one, on his father's right, and Ephraim, who's the younger one, on his father's left, expecting his father, of course, to first bless the older son with his right hand, and then goes the younger son. But to his great surprise, here comes the dramatic moment, one of the most ancient known Jewish dance moves, when Jacob takes his hands and crosses them over to put his right hand on the younger Ephraim's head and put his left hand on the older Manasseh's head. And for generations, so many scholars and sages have pondered the big question: why did Jacob cross his hands? And I am here today to wish you Shabbat Shalom and share with you a powerful insight that applies to my life and to yours as well. You see, as we all know, Joseph had a difficult life. Joseph was sold by his brothers, and he ended up in Egypt, so far away from home. When Jacob was blessed with a child, he decided to give a name to each one of his two sons that will empower him to stay strong and keep on trucking. His older son, Manasseh, he chose the name Nashani. Manasseh means, God, you have torn me away from my past. Whenever he looked at his son Manasseh, he remembered the difficulty of his past and where he came from. The very name Manasseh means Nashani. You have torn me away. You have pulled me away. You have taken me away from my anchored roots of my childhood. And then when his second son was born, he named him Ephraim. Ephraim means Hephrani Elokim. God, you have multiplied me. You have brought me much success. You have helped me grow. In other words, Joseph recognized that even though Egypt's a difficult place to be, especially for a nice Jewish boy from Israel, ultimately he recognized that it was through the trials and tribulations and through the hardships and the difficult years that he went through that he ultimately achieved a place of greatness. And here comes the dramatic moment. Open your hearts. I want you to picture this scene. Joseph puts Manasseh to the right, Ephraim to the left, and Jacob comes and he crosses his arms. And what does he do? He tells his son, my dear Joseph, it is important to always think of Manasseh. It is important to remember where you come from. It's important to remember the struggles of your youth. But it's more important to recognize that what defines you are not your difficulties and not your challenges, but what defines you is Ephraim. What defines you is the multiplication and the success and the growth and the achievements that you have had through your difficulties. And this is what we remind ourselves every single day. It is true we have to remember the past. It is true we have to remember the challenges. We have to celebrate the difficulties. But more importantly, the secret to the Jewish survival, the secret to your survival and to my survival is Ephraim, to recognize that it is through the hardships that we grow. It is through the hardships that we multiply. It is through the broken moments that we become whole again. So when you have a right hand, which symbolizes strength, always focus on the growth and the progress instead of the challenges and the difficulties. So Shabbat Shalom, and I invite you to join me as we twist our arms and we continue to focus on the growth, on the strength, and the tremendous blessings that comes through the moments of hardship. Shabbat Shalom and L'chaim.